Hello and welcome to Experiencing Love. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I am so glad that you're here. It may feel like you're behind sometimes, but I want you to know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, and exactly how you're supposed to be here. Whatever you have going on, just know that everything happens for a reason. And maybe that reason, just for this very moment, is to listen to this video through to the end and take what you can and apply it to your own life. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Lately, it feels like I've been super behind, and I've done that to myself. I've had super busy days, and I get to the end of them, and there's some things I feel like doing and some things I don't. That's natural, that'll happen. But what'll also happen is that feeling of being behind and needing to rush to catch up. But what if instead of us being behind, we're actually just right on time? We were meant to take that break. We were meant to do those extra things, those extra tasks, or have a little bit of that extra fun for a reason. I want to challenge your beliefs on whether or not you're actually behind. Because in reality, what are you actually behind on? What makes you actually feel behind? Do you have a deadline that you're about to miss or maybe already missed? I guess the question is, who gave that deadline? Did you give it yourself? Did someone else give it to you? I'm going to give you some what ifs here. What if, just maybe, you were meant to miss that deadline? Whoever gave it to you, right? Whether it's you or another person, reacted a certain way to you missing the deadline. What if it's all on purpose? What if there's a reason for it? I choose to follow this belief that everything happens for a reason. Every deadline we miss, every goal that we push off, every person that we wait to text, wait to talk to, it's all for a reason. And oftentimes we don't know that reason. I genuinely think there are some reasons, some things in play that are much bigger than any of us can ever understand in the moment. That's when I look in hindsight. I look at my past and I look at all the things, all the joy, all the good that have come into my life because I missed something or I was behind on something or I didn't do something. For example, I dropped out of college. Some may say I'm behind on getting a degree, which may be true because I actually have no clue when it is I'd go back and get a degree. I don't know what I'd go back for, what I'd want to do. I just know that compared to maybe other people my age or all of my friends that I made in college, I am behind. Or what if I'm right on time? What if because I dropped out and didn't finish that degree, I was able to come home, meet some new incredible people, have some new incredible experiences, some that include new jobs, some that include traveling, going to places like Spain and Portugal. Maybe that includes taking up new hobbies and meeting up new people there. For me, that's rock climbing. I know that everything that has happened in the last 3 to 4 years would not have happened if I didn't leave school. In that moment, when I was deciding to leave, I was terrified that I would be behind. I was terrified that my plan wasn't happening or I wasn't doing things according to my plan of, get a degree, get a job, get a family, yada, yada, yada. And yet I took that leap anyways. And what I slowly started to learn was that this feeling of being behind on what we're meant to do is largely due to our own thoughts, our own beliefs. Yeah, someone may tell you that there's a deadline, but in the end, you're the one that decides if that deadline is important or not. You know how I know that? Think about how many deadlines exist out there that you have absolutely no idea about. Say there's a deadline on a job application out there. It's a job application that may or may not be a better job than what you have now, but you're not looking for a new job. And that deadline passes. And it's technically a deadline that you could have met. You could have put in your application, you could have done. But you decided because you weren't looking for a new job, that deadline wasn't important to you. Maybe there's a sport you really like to play. For example, softball. You wanted to join a softball league someday, and in a town, maybe 3 towns over, their applications for the softball league just closed. But you weren't even looking for a softball league there. You were looking for something closer, but that's a deadline that closed. You decided that deadline wasn't important to you. You didn't have to meet that deadline. I say you decided, but it was more like you didn't know, and you didn't know because it wasn't important to you. In life, we choose what's important to us. We choose what to focus on, and that includes these deadlines that are given to us. It can be by a boss, it could be by a family member, it could be by ourselves. We could start our own projects and give ourselves our own deadlines. So really, you're the one that decides how behind you are. Yeah, I know there's other influences out there, Like if a boss gives you a deadline and you don't meet it, of course there's going to be some form of repercussions. I get that. And those repercussions are important to you and they're going to affect you. But that's just the point. Because sometimes there's people out there who truly don't care about their job. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but it's true. Some people don't care about their jobs and they don't care about what their bosses tell them to do. They don't care about projects or the deadlines or anything like that. They'll be late, left and right. And it just goes to show that, with free will, you can choose not to follow through on those things. But you're not like that. You do care. And so you will meet those deadlines in order to not feel behind. But I like to think that we're never really behind. We're right on time for what we're meant to experience. What if being late for that work project, what if not getting that deliverable in on time, has your boss react in a crazy way, in a way that shows you who they really are as a person? Yeah, you were late on the deliverable, but you learned some pretty valuable information. And you can make different decisions based on that valuable information. Maybe you find that your boss is actually incredibly compassionate and they're helpful and they want you to succeed. Maybe in that moment or right before that moment, you were considering quitting, but now you want to stay. Or it's the opposite. It's a job that you love, but then you find out that your boss is maybe a little bit of a rough person to be around. And you're planning on staying, but now you're like, oh, maybe I should move departments. Maybe I should switch jobs. By being late on the deliverable, you were right on time to learn a valuable lesson. That's how I look at things. So I may have been late these past few days, or maybe I was right on time to learn exactly what I was meant to learn, to meet exactly who I was meant to meet, to have on my mind exactly what I was meant to have on my mind, so that I got to today, clear-headed, calm, collected, ready for everything coming my way. Or maybe the real outcome hasn't even come yet. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes these reasons are much bigger than we can ever guess, than we can ever know. It may just be that me feeling behind lately has an effect that I haven't even sensed yet. I haven't seen, I haven't been able to put into words. I'm open to that possibility as well. It's actually the most likely situation. I choose to think this way so that I don't live a life where I'm constantly beating myself up. As someone with the ability to overthink, feeling like I'm behind, feeling like I've done something wrong, feeling like I've hurt someone, whether any of these things are true, is enough for me to go down a spiral that takes me out for days on end. I'll get upset, I'll get angsty, I'll be hurt, and I'll hurt other people. I don't do it intentionally, but at this point, knowing what I know, knowing how I can affect how I change, knowing I can affect how I feel, how I react, I know that it is partly a choice. I choose to believe that I'm right on time, that everything happens for a reason, because it gives my life reason, especially the hard times. It gives me hope that there is a reason, and it's one that's so much bigger than I am, that I don't need to know the answer immediately. It's what many people like to call purpose. And I gave this to myself in a time when I saw my life had no purpose. So you could laugh, you could snark, you could not believe anything that I've just said this video. And that's all right, because in my mind, you are just right on time to see this video, to listen to this episode. And you may not know why, I may not know why, but one day the answer will be clear. And I look forward to that day when it comes. And here's where we're going to call it today. I thank you for being here right when you were supposed to. You're not late, you're right on time. So until next time, just remember to always fill up with the love. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.